It's the final day of the 5-day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge brought to you by Amazon Ad School. It's been a wild ride. I've been so happy to be able to teach you here, and we have some fun stuff set up for video number 5 with our conversion rate lesson. So if your book is not profiting or you're only at the break-even stage, it may be a result of your book's conversion rate, which can connect up with your cover, your title, your hook for your book description. And so we are going to go into all the things you can do to improve your conversion rate and your book's profitability. So let's get into today's final lesson.
Welcome to the 5th and final video, how to understand conversion rate and make your blurbs hook shine. Now, many authors are looking for reasons to prove that Amazon ads don't work. They are looking at ACoS, they are looking at sales that are tracked on the ad dashboard. They're looking at a bunch of different places. But this week, we have looked for evidence in some strange locations. The KDP Beta Reports dashboard, which some of you may have never seen or heard of, and Author Central for checking our sales rank to see if we can actually prove the opposite, to prove that they do work. Now, if you've seen a profit during the challenge, then you can see it right there, that more clicks led to sales and pages read, whether or not they were tracked as sales, whether or not they were tracked at all by Amazon Ad Dashboard. And I hope by now you've seen the importance of sales rank when calculating the future potential royalties, either with someone borrowing the book and not reading it for a couple weeks, or you selling a paperback and not seeing the royalties on that for a few days after until the book ships. We also hope that even if you can't prove profit this time around, you've at least learned the ropes. You've learned in the future what steps you'll need to take to do it when you have a book that is converting well, when you have a book that is going to get you profit as it is. Now, we are in publishing for the art, of course. Of course we are. We love writing, we love characters, or we love providing education. But we're also in it as a source of income. The challenge is focused on understanding and proving profit. Understanding it, where it comes from, how it works, but also proving that it's possible. And once you can tell if a book or series is profitable, you know, I'm going to put in $1 and I'm going to get $1.50 back consistently. Then you will know it's worth running ads to. So if you know you can consistently and reliably make money off of a book or a series, you can keep doing that. And this is great because you don't have to guess. You can start knowing, if I take these actions, I will get these results. That gets rid of, I feel like I should do this. We don't care about the feeling. We care about what actions lead to what results. Can you prove them once so you can try to replicate them again? Now, you might ask at this point, you didn't see profit. What if ads don't work for my books? Well, I want to look at it at a slightly different angle, in a different way that could make you think differently about all marketing. What if my books don't work for ads? What if ads don't work for my book? What if my books don't work for ads? It's a subtle, tiny little, quick twist, but it is an important one. Because nearly all books and series can profit from ads. But you might have to tweak the books in some way, how they're presented online, or even the books themselves, in order to make that possible, in order to make your book work for ads and ads work for your book. Experimenting with some tweaks and changes to try to turn a book profitable is part of the process by which you improve your book's conversion rate. Now, theoretically, any and every book you've ever published could be tweaked into profitability. If it gets a good enough conversion rate and you run ads to it, you make a profit. This means that if you make the changes, any money you spend on ads will result in a positive return. Any money you spend on ads to a book that is converting profitably will result in a positive return. Now we're going to go into what conversion rate is in a second. Don't worry. Now it's going to take time and money and effort to strengthen the conversion rate of books that you have that don't convert all that well. If you have a book that you send money to and you don't get a return, you're going to need to put in effort and possibly more money to make it prove out a positive return. If and when all of your titles do become profitable, then you're able to slowly increase your earnings. You're able to reinvest in your own books. Maybe you recover or get new book descriptions for a series that is lagging. You can keep reinvesting and reinvesting to further improve your profit and go from $10 to $100 to $1,000 or more. It starts with getting one book profitable, and then from there, you can kind of reinvest that money into making everything profitable. How does copywriting factor into this? We've been talking about copy all week. A stellar book description can improve your conversion rate. It is one factor. It's not everything. It is one factor. But since the hook is so key to getting your blurb right, that hook that we wrote for our advertising copy, we can actually use some evidence and we can use some reader feedback to make sure that the first line of our description brings people in. Once people are on our page, that first line of the description gets them so excited, some of them click the buy button right there. That's what we want to happen. And because even a short but solid introduction can get new potential customers to click the buy button, it is smart to have that first line be your best line. To have the first line of your description be your best piece of ad copy. We'll get into that a little more later. Just a quick note, if you've done the homework for video 4, then you know if your campaigns are profitable or not. It is a good opportunity to go find that select all button in the top left-hand corner of your campaigns and say, I want to extend the end date, and extend that to the middle of August or the end of August, if you are watching this in July. You can pick whatever end date you want, but usually keeping it to a 2 to 4 week period tends to get Amazon's attention. I recommend that you set yourself a reminder before the end of the challenge, or you just go ahead and do it right now before you forget, because we always have some people forget. Go extend those campaigns. Here's what you're going to learn today in the final video of the challenge. You're going to learn how to figure out conversion rate and why it matters for your books. You'll also learn the easiest changes you can make to improve conversion, as well as the more difficult ones. And you will learn how to use your best copy from the challenge to repurpose it into your highest performing hook. And here's what you'll need. You'll need the old-fashioned internet browser. You will need some patience. This is definitely a video that might be frustrating to some of us to know how much work goes into conversion rate. Have patience and get through it. You will thank me later. You may need a calculator to do some calculations. As much time as you will need to watch this here video, and 30 to 60 minutes to do the homework. Now, what is conversion rate? Conversion rate is essentially how many clicks does it take to get either a sale, someone buys your book, ebook or paperback or audiobook, or a full Kindle Unlimited read. They read your entire KU book from cover to cover. Usually, around 10 clicks to get one sale or a full read is going to be profitable for most novels or longer nonfiction. But if your book is a little shorter, it's a novella or a shorter novel, around 6 clicks to one sale might be a more accurate indicator of profitability. And if you sell children's books and your book is in Kindle Unlimited, those are really, really tiny. And so you may need conversion rate of around 3 to 1 for the kids' books, which is going to factor in your KU reads. Now, I recommend you get enough data here. Usually we recommend at least 100 clicks or several weeks to a month to gather the data needed to initially assess your conversion. Ideally, 100 clicks. And that's per book. So if you're running ads on multiple books, you want 100 clicks for the book in order to look at how many units you've sold and how many KU pages. That is going to be how you figure out your book's conversion rate, which in turn determines your book's possibility of profit. How do you run the experiment? First, you start with a combination of 10 to 20 category, auto, and keyword ads at your low bids of 30 to 35 cents. You're going to keep an eye on them every week. You want to see how close are you getting to 100 clicks for the book that you're testing. And this is not just for books that are making money. You want to do this particularly for books that aren't profiting, because you need to see, well, how bad is the problem, Doc? You need to see what your conversion rate is. If not, if you are not getting closer to that 100 click mark, then you are going to want to create more ads with new targets. You might ask, Brian, if I'm losing money, why on earth would I create more ads? Because we need good data here. We need the numbers. Now, once you hit 100 clicks, if you're not profitable and you hit 100 clicks, you can either drop those bids by 1 to 2 cents a day or pause the ads entirely and then check your profit and your conversion. Only if you're unprofitable would I recommend that you pause the ads. If you've got that 10 to 1 mark, or 6 to 1 for a shorter book, 3 to 1 for a children's book in KU, that should be pretty good. If the number is higher, 15 to 1, that could be salvageable, especially if it's a longer series. But higher than that is likely going to need 1 or more tweaks. Now, this may make you feel like a mad marketing scientist. You're running experiments on your book. Well, that is the idea. Let me show you how to do it. So in order to figure out our conversion rate numbers, we are going to head over to our KDP reports, but we're not going to use the royalties estimator because dollars doesn't really matter here. We're going to take a look at orders, and we're going to take a look at KENP. So if we click on orders here, we're going to uncheck free because that doesn't matter so much. And we are going to deselect, and we're going to go pull up Dark Souls and Dark Souls. So we see 3 units during this time. So 3 units in the month of July if we were just going to figure out the month of July. So let's move this to Dark Souls conversion rate calculation. Orders 3. So we'll just put sales here. Sales 3. And then we want to go over to KENP. So we still have these, and we have 1618. But how do we translate that into the number of people who've had a full KU read from front to back? Well, we actually have to go to our bookshelf here, and we're going to go to the Dark Souls. We're going to go back to our promote and advertise button for your ebook. And here in the bottom left-hand corner, we see, oh, interesting. That must have changed the last time I uploaded it. 301 KU pages, 301. So we're going to put that. KU pages per book, 301. KU pages read in July, we see 1618. 1618. Now, conversion rate is only the one book that you're advertising. It does not include reads of later in the book. So we take this number of how many pages we got read and divide it by that number of the 301. So we'll bust out the calculator. 1618 divided by 301 gets us 5.3. We're going to round it down. So we're going to say KU full reads 5. And we'll change this to 3 there. So we had 5 full reads and a few others. We could factor that in, but I'm just going to downplay it here. 5 full reads, 3 sales. That means our total sales for this period are 8. You add the two of those together. So we have 8 sales, but how many clicks did we have? Well, if we go to Amazon Advertising and we put in the Find a Campaign button, we do our abbreviation here. And we can see that we had 97 clicks. So 97 clicks with 8 total sales. We're going to divide there. So we have 97 clicks divided by 8 equals 12.125. So 12.125 clicks per sale. To get a sale or a full KU read, it took 12.125 clicks. Now you can do this with a book that's not in KU. All you have to do is just use orders. So let's say I was going to do my book Sizzling Synopsis. We had 75 units this month. And if we were going to do Sizzling here, we can see that we had 90 clicks. So it looks like we just had 90, and it looks like some actually sadly expired, but 90 clicks. So Sizzling Synopsis, 75 sales, clicks, 90 clicks. So our conversion rate's going to be a lot better here. 90 divided by 75 equals 1.2. 1.2 clicks per sale. So that is more likely to be profitable than this because the number is lower. We want it to be lower. Now, if your number is too high, this is kind of on the border, but because it's as part of a series, it's not so bad. You want to look at the possibility of making changes to figure out your conversion rate. Now, just to show you one last time, you find your KU pages here on this Promote and Advertise page on your bookshelf. This only applies if your book's in KU, and you'll find that in the bottom left-hand corner right there. You need that number in order to do the pages read into KU full reads conversion. I hope you found that helpful. How do you improve conversion rate? There are a few different ways. The easiest way is to lower your price. The no-brainer way is to add a subtitle, which is something you can only do easily in an ebook edition. The simplest way is a better book description, and that starts with a powerful hook. The toughest way, the one that may cause you sleepless nights, is getting more customer reviews. And then the most inconvenient way is a new title and cover. That is a real pain, but people have done it, myself included, and I'll walk you through that a little bit later. These are the ways. Lower your price, add a subtitle, improve your book description, get more customer reviews, new title and cover. These 5 big areas are how you can improve your conversion rate dramatically. Let's talk about the pricing. When you price your ebook above $4.99 or your paperback kind of above $9.99, this is relatively high for self-published authors. Now, 99 cents is common, but if you have a book 1 at 99 cents, it can actually get you a bunch of bargain seekers who don't want to go on to book 2. So if book 2 is regular price. So usually you'd be in that $2.99 to $4.99 range for your ebook, and around that $7.99 to $12.99 range for your paperback. If you go too much higher, you're going to lose conversion because some people do not want to order a book that is that costly from an author who they don't know very well. Clarifying your title. We need to be abundantly clear about what genre and what trope your book is. Now, on a paperback, you can't change the subtitle, but on an ebook, you can add a subtitle that includes the genre or the trope. Now, your subtitle is tied to the ISBN of the paperback edition, so if you only do a paperback, you won't be able to make this change. But you can change your ebook subtitle as often as you want until you get it right. I mean, hopefully you get it right on the first try, but we can add fiction subtitles like a coming-of-age fantasy novel. We've got the genre and the subgenre, plus novel. A friends to lovers romantic comedy. That's the trope, friends to lovers. In the rom-com, we get the trope and we get the genre. An Amazon Ad Challenge lit RPG novel. I mean, that one just speaks for itself. But honestly, you do want to keep things pretty tight when you are going to create your subtitle. I'm not a big fan of those every adjective under the sun subtitles. Like a hard to put down, wonderful, twist ending mystery. We don't really want to go there. We want to keep things simple. Nonfiction, there you can try to boost up some keywords. My subtitle for Sizzling Synopsis is a step-by-step system for enticing new readers, selling more fiction, and making your books sound good. A big subtitle in nonfiction because the genre doesn't matter as much. A big subtitle in nonfiction to get some additional SEO keywords in there can be really helpful. When you are trying to get more reviews for your books, some services, some paid services, and some free services can be really helpful. Story Origin is a website that you can use to give out free things like free series starters or free short stories in return for an email address to try to get more reviewers. Now, a lot of these folks, yes, are freebie seekers, but freebie seekers can still leave reviews. They won't show up as verified reviews, but they are absolutely helpful. Hidden Gems is a site that you can hire out to do, they have a bunch of readers in there. You can get some reviews. Booksprout is another one. You can hire the service to help you get more reviews. Another method is to just keep running Amazon ads at a slight loss in an effort to get more readers and reviews. That is an effective process, especially if you do any discount or free promotions if your book is in Kindle Unlimited. Hunting down reviewer info can be helpful. Sites like Book Reviewer Targeter or Author Marketing Club can lead to direct connections, like you actually get the email of the reviewer, in which case you want to be extremely, extremely nice and grateful for their time. But I think the best method, and Story Origin and Book Funnel and Prolific Works can be a part of this, as some other sites that are worth checking out. They will help you build up a street team, also known as a launch team. These are folks who you reach out to a couple weeks before your book comes out and say, I have a book coming out. Here is the final draft of it. Can you please read it with the intention of reviewing it in 2 or 3 weeks? That is the best long-term method, and building that team up over time is really, really helpful. The right title, the right cover. Ted Saves the World was the first name of my superhero series. And I thought it was funny, and there were all sorts of puns in these titles. We even had the third book in the series was called Portal Combat. Doesn't get funnier than that, but the funny, the creative, the really, really unique does not always work. Both your title and your cover need to be genre appropriate. You need to look at your genre and be honest with yourself. Does this cover fit what people are selling when they see supernatural suspense or paranormal romance? Is this what these books tend to look like on Amazon? If the answer is no, you have to be honest with yourself about making changes. A quick glance through the top 100 in your category, or a report from K-Lytics, which is very genre-specific advice. They can be extremely helpful for figuring out what is selling in the genre right now that I should try to emulate. And when you get a new cover and you get a new title, or when you're starting to commission this, share all your rough drafts with a group of trusted authors. You do not want to be in the situation that I've heard of so many times, where you get a new cover, you spent several $100s on it, and it doesn't fit with the genre. If you do not share, if you do not get outside of your marketing vacuum, you will be doomed to repeat the same mistakes over again. It's so much better to just take the time and do it right the next time, rather than getting it wrong over and over again. Now, when you are creating a ad copy hook for your book, there is no need to reinvent the wheel. It is perfectly fine to take your most successful piece of ad copy and use it as the first line in your book description. You can have it in 2 places. That is something that really strong marketers have used to sell their books over time. At Best Page Forward, we even take the strongest hook for the blurb and stick it right up top to get reader attention. And you've been working so hard on these hooks over the last few days, you might as well have them doing double duty. How do you get your top choice, though? You create 3 to 5 versions, but how do you get the knowledge that you're using the best one? So I recommend you write 5 or more versions of your hook. And there are a few good ways to go about getting the feedback you need. You can post in a group of authors, but you will more than likely get stylistic writer feedback, which isn't necessarily good for marketing your book. If you wanted anyone to look at it, it would be your target readers. If you want to get the best possible feedback for what people will read in your genre, you will want it to be your existing readers. Trust me, this is much better than the easy method of just posting in any old author group. This is the best way to get the right kind of language and the emotional stakes you need to get long-term fans. Plus, when you share your copy with the folks who are in your author group, or who are in the group for you as an author, they feel like they're part of the process. There's a sense of ownership there, and they are really happy to be involved. So you even forge a deeper connection with your readers by getting them to weigh in on the best possible copy. Now, if you don't have a group of readers yet, you can relationship build in your genre. Another term for networking, but that feels a lot better, right? Relationship build in your genre. Try to share with another author's group or list with their permission, or start making connections in your genre's community, like a fan group for a certain genre. But, and this is very important, you must always, always, always ask for permission before you post in any Facebook group that you've never posted in before. Make sure you read all the guidelines, because you do not want to get kicked out of the group right when you just got in there. Now, the best way to get feedback is to do a survey. So you can write a post, just like a regular Facebook post, or an email with a numbered list of these different pieces of copy. So you need to number them, because it's a lot easier for people to respond with a number. You're going to get fewer responses if you just have a big list of pieces of copy. People will be like, the one with the and the and it's just easier to go with numbers. Then you're going to ask for the people who view this post, whether they're in a group or via your email, to post their top number below in comments, or via an email response if you are emailing people on your list. Then you're going to count up the votes. Count up the votes, determine a winner. You'll want to know any other specific feedback that your readers have at that time. So you are going to see if people say, I kind of like the beginning of 2, but the end of 3. If they say that, and enough people say that, enough people chime in, you might want to mix and match. If there's no clear winner, like everything gets 2 votes, try to get more votes, repost the survey, or just pick a number out of a hat. It really doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you get a clear cut. This one feels like the best. And if you don't, maybe you still need to write a few different versions, because maybe people are pretty ambivalent because the copy is only okay. We need to keep track of when we make all of these changes. When you change your copy, when you change your cover, when you change your title, you need to know, I made this tweak today, because if you can determine that a certain hook you've chosen to put at the front of your blurb makes a difference in your conversion rate, or the new cover, or the new 10 reviews that you gathered, you need to see if that makes a difference, because you don't want to just make a change for the sake of change. You are no longer allowed, by having been a member of the 5-day challenge, you are no longer allowed to say, I feel like this is a problem. You're no longer allowed to do that, because when it comes down to it, you don't need to assess your feelings. You need to look at the numbers, and the numbers will tell you what to do. We are doing this. We're doing all of these changes to see which tweaks will lead to more readers buying your book. That's the only reason we do it. If your book was already profiting, you don't need to do this. So make a note somewhere. Says, I changed this thing on this date, so that you can look at a new span for your conversion rate, so that you can see, oh, this tweak improved or decreased my conversion rate, so I better make these changes as a result. If it got worse, you go back to the version you had. If it gets better, then you try running more ads and see if you can get a profit. This is not easy, but it is simple. You make tweaks and the conversion rate gets better. It's just some of the tweaks are a little more painful than others. It takes time, it takes effort to make your reviews, your blurb, your cover, could take money to get that in better shape. But once you do this, it may be the change you needed to make to run profitable ads on your book for years to come. Because if you are able to take a book that was a loss to being profitable, and then over the lifetime of that book you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ads, you are likely to make significantly more than that in profit. You might spend $5,000 and make $10,000 if you got your book to convert that effectively. Larger Amazon deposits into your checking account once you've made these tweaks will make all of the energy that you spent absolutely worth it. Now, this is the step where most authors give up. I've seen it. I've seen it in any of the ad-related programs I've offered. Most authors give up when they realize the book they have isn't profitable, and then they don't go all in on figuring out how to make it better. The process requires you make intentional changes. It's not just willy-nilly, it's for the sake of data. And then once you make the changes, you're going to need to gather another 50 to 100 clicks. So that could take 2 to 4 weeks, waiting for new data to come in to see if the conversion rate improved. Many authors don't have the patience to see this all the way through. Many authors will stop before they get to the end of this. But if you're willing to be different by showing off your dedication, you are dedicated to making this book that is at a loss into a positive return, you may find that your unprofitable book has suddenly paid dividends and may for years and years to come. Now, you might want to say, I'd like to see how a page can transform. Well, I am on it, my friend. It is my pleasure. So we're just going to take a little peek here at my old book, Ted Saves the World, which was my original book here. Now, I used a lot of the review gathering methods I discussed in order to get 287 reviews on this book. So I was getting reviews. I had a decent blurb. Here's where I lost out. I did not have a strong title. I did not have a subtitle here, at least on the paperback. I believe on the ebook I played around with different series titles, but not necessarily a subtitle. And then my cover, it just gets lost. It's just too washed out. If you look at this, and you should try to look at all your books at this size, there's no contrast there. It just doesn't stick out as much as it could. So that didn't work so well. What did I change? Well, if we go to me over here and we go over to Dark Souls. So here's the Dark Souls. This has changed. So this, we have a title that's a cover that's more fitting with the genre. I looked at, well, what are some of the other books? And we see things like Caped and Girl in the Box Alone and Tom Reynolds books. So I actually did a trick where I went to the same cover designer they used. I asked them, hey, who designed your covers? And I went to their cover designer. And this is different enough that it's still, that it's not copying, but it does fit the genre. I recently, only in the preview for this challenge, added this subtitle in. I gathered new reviews. I could have ported them over, but I decided to gather completely new reviews. And I used superhero in the subtitle as well. So these were the changes I made to try to get my conversion rate better. And this is what you do on a book that has lagged behind. I actually did it as a full relaunch and relaunched it as a new product. You don't necessarily have to. But here's the interesting thing. A lot of people have this trouble with if if it ain't broke, they still try to fix it. So I want to go pull one of these up. Actually, I think I went past them entirely. So my workbooks basically totally disappeared on me. But if I pull up one of these, here we go. So these were my workbooks that I created in May 2012. And I made the covers myself, based them on looking kind of like those kind of scholastic type covers to try to emulate the genre. But as a not designer, I am definitely not a designer here. And so I assumed the best thing for me to do was the next time I make a workbook, I'm going to get them really pretty and well designed. So I got a new designer to make them fancier. Now these are very cool looking covers. They're stylistic. They have a whole color element to them. Nobody buys them. Nobody buys these books. Nobody buys those covers. Everybody buys the covers of the book that was already doing well. I did not know at the time, but when I have checked the conversion rate of these workbooks, it is somewhere between 3-to-1 and 6-to-1. Very, very strong conversion rate. I have made profit on these month in and month out for years. But when you try to make a change of something that's already solid, like a book that's already converting 5-to-1, you try to mess with it, you're going to get this. You're going to get a cover or a title or something that doesn't work because you didn't listen to the numbers. You didn't look at the numbers. Now, with my Viral Superhero series, I listened to the numbers, and Ted Saves the World wasn't cutting it. But here, I did not look at the numbers. I did not know the numbers. So you need to learn your numbers. You need to look at your data, because your data is going to tell you the story of what to do next. And it's going to tell you whether or not what you've done has changed things. Now, let's say I make all these changes. I'm going to mark that down, and I'm going to start a new set of looking. Let's say I made the change on June 15th. So I'm going to look here at something like May 15th to June 15th, save, and I'm going to look at my conversion rate here. I'll compare that with the orders and the KU pages. And then if I made the change after then, I will go from now the 16th to today, save, and look at what is my conversion rate now. What has changed? That's what you need. You need the numbers from before and the numbers from after in order to determine, did a change make a difference? Now, I know it did with my books, but I looked at the data, and that is how I figured it out. What a difference a week can make, huh? We've accomplished a lot here. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that over 100 authors created their first Amazon ads this week, maybe even 500 plus. And so a round of applause to everyone who did this work. I love seeing the work that you've done. And some of you saw profit. Some of you saw a loss. But now you've got so many tools and tricks and skills you can play with. It's very exciting. You saw a profit, you know what to do to create more ads. And the scaling webinar here on the Tuesday the 21st is going to make a big difference in that as well. But if you see a loss, everything you just learned today can be helpful. So once you make sure that your books are optimized to have more profit with your ads, you'll be able to turn all of your ad creation knowledge into royalties. Isn't it nice when you learn a thing and it can make you money? That is one of my biggest goals. I want to help you and the other members of the author community to earn more money doing something that you love. Here's what you know how to do now. You know how to create more category, keyword, and auto ads. This is in an effort to get more clicks, ideally profitable ones, but if you don't get profitable ones, you're at least gathering it for conversion rate numbers. You know how to write different kinds of ad copy to appeal to your readers in a variety of ways. You also know how to interpret the Amazon ad dashboard and why it's helpful to ignore stats like ACoS and sales, which are referring to tracked sales. You also know how to use the KDP beta dashboard to see if your royalties are greater than your ad spend, which is profitability. And you also know how to look at Author Central to see if your sales rank has improved as well. Lastly, you learned how to calculate your conversion rate and what to try to make a change on to turn books with a loss into potentially profitable titles. And here's what you've proven. We've been all about the proof. You have proven to yourself Amazon ads are easier than you thought. A lot of you had never created one, but now you know Amazon ads are easier than they thought you would be, and you have the ability to create them. You have created them, after all. Figuring out how to read the ad dashboard and where to find profit, it doesn't take a math degree. You can look in two places and do a simple subtraction problem. It's something you can absolutely do. You have the ability to do this on a weekly or monthly basis. You don't need an accountant. You don't need a bookkeeper. You can figure this out, and you have. There is always a path, whether or not you have profit. If you have profit, you run more ads. If you have no profit, you fix up your sales page, and then you run more ads. That is proven to work with a lot of authors. You may not believe this, but by showing off the work you've done here, you have proven that you are smart, you are resilient, you are capable. And many of your peers in the Facebook group would agree. They've seen your posts, they've seen your hooks, they've seen your book covers, and they like them. I hear around the bend that people are even going and buying these books from time to time because you are writing such strong, awesome hooks. You are capable of doing everything that we taught here in the challenge. And I think you've also proven, or I hope that you have, that this is just the beginning of your advertising journey. This is not something you learn and then you pivot and go somewhere else. This is something that can really impact your career. And here's what you're going to learn during today's webinar at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to recap some of the things from the challenge, but we're also going to go deep into what to do when your books are profitable. We'll talk about scaling up your ads. And scaling up is essentially keeping your return consistent while spending more money in an effort to earn higher overall profit. If that's something you're interested in, you will want to be there. This is going to be live content that we did not have time to cover during the challenge. So I hope you can make it. You're going to get a confirmation link about an hour beforehand and then 30 minutes beforehand as well. So make sure, be there. Go to webinar, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll make sure to have abundant, copious amounts of links so that you can find us. Let's talk homework. I want you to think back over the whole challenge and identify the number one thing you learned this week. Some people have had a hard time at identifying just one, but you want to write out your answer. What was the number one thing? Share it in a new post in the Facebook group with the hashtag JulyVid5. And then make sure to second another author's post with a kind comment. Video number 1, extra credit 1. I'd like you to write down a testimonial for the challenge. You could record a video if you're feeling so bold. I don't know how many people have actually taken me up on that. But I would like you, if you found this helpful, I would like you to write a testimonial. And then I'd like you to please share your feedback in a new post in the Facebook group with the hashtag JulyVid5EC1. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to provide your thoughts. It helps us get the motivation we need to put this event on as often as we can. Now, there are actually 3 extra credit opportunities here, so stay tuned. I would like you to take your testimonial, and I would like you to repost it on the Best Page Forward Facebook page. So click the link in the post or go to facebook.com/pg/bestpageforward/reviews. Then there's going to be a box on the screen. If you want to recommend Best Page Forward, you click the yes, and then a post will show up. Write your post, and you can copy and paste your feedback in there. I believe there is also a star rating. We appreciate you taking the time to leave that feedback, and one of the things about having a lot of reviews, why we're asking for them on the Facebook page, is that we hope it'll help us reach even more authors in the future. So feel free to use the hashtag July Challenge in that post on the Facebook page. And lastly, your extra credit. This is your 1-paragraph essay on conversion rate. What kind of data would you need to collect to figure out your book's conversion rate? You don't have to do it, but you can. What changes do you suspect you'd have to make to your book to improve that rate? What would you need to tweak on your sales page? What do you think is the area that needs the most concern or requires the most concern? What would your path to profitability look like in the next few months once you gathered that conversion rate data? So you can post this, JulyVid5EC3. Make sure to give a little love to your fellow authors for their posts too. I'm going to see you today. Today's webinar will take place at 3 p.m. Eastern in GoToWebinar. I hope you can attend live. New info. There will be a special offer there as well. If you can't make it, I will send out the replay over the weekend. So I want to remind you that these videos come down soon. The 5-day Amazon Ad Profit Challenge videos remain up through July 27th, which is a Monday. If you'd like to keep access to them for life so you can go back over the videos over and over and over again, you can join Amazon Ad School today. Ooh, that was a really fast transition, but you can join it today. ... Lyle Nicholson, a thriller author, said, I took Brian's free 5-day Amazon Ad Challenge this past January. Then I noticed my sales were going up from about $1,200 to $1,500 per month, and then again to $2,500 a month. I took the ad challenge again in April, purchased the course. Now I'm making over $100 per day, and my overall income has more than paid for the course. And Lyle is awesome and very, very polite, one of our neighbors to the north. So if you keep the challenge going by joining the Amazon Ad School course, you'll get access to another challenge, the series Success Challenge, as well as lifetime access to all future public and premium challenges too. You get it all. So in addition to 5 modules, you'll get 5 modules to take everything from the challenge to a higher level. So go to sellingforauthors.com/July20 to join the course instantly. Now, I am really, really proud of you. You've done all this hard work, and I know that it was hard work. I saw all the hard work you put in. And I really know how hard it can be, especially if you're trying ads for the very first time. but you pushed through. You really pushed through. And of course, I hope we get to keep working together, because that's important to me to get to follow you and help you through your journey. But I'm really grateful for you. I just am so lucky to be able to do this as my job, to be able to help people, to be able to help authors. And I'm really just over the moon with how happy I am to get to see all of your work, all of your results. And this couldn't have happened without you. You needed to come here. You needed to do the work. So please pat yourself on the back. From myself, from Quinn and all of the support team, we really, truly appreciate you. So I want to say thank you. I just want to close out by saying thank you. There is nothing quite like teaching like this. It gives me just an incredible feeling to be able to reach as many people as we can here. It is an absolute treat. It is a dream to get to share this material with you. I really appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to seeing you in today's webinar for one big, more additional crazy lesson, 3 p.m. Eastern. So thanks again, and have an incredible rest of your day.
Thank you for watching today's video. It has been an honor to teach you. I hope that you can make it to our How to Scale Up Your Amazon Ads webinar at 3 p.m. today, if you're watching here on Tuesday, July 21st, or we will be able to share a replay with you. And this video and the replay will be available through July 27th, at which time they become a part of the Amazon Ad School program. If you've enjoyed learning from me and my team, and you'd like to continue that, to continue to have our support, the best way to do that is to join Ad School. You can go to sellingforauthors.com/July 20, or check out the link below on the post. I hope if you're watching this on the day it came out, that you can join me for our webinar. There's no live Q&A, just, well, there will be at the end of that webinar, but there's no live Q&A in the Facebook group. It's all about the webinar today. So thanks again, and I will see you in the webinar, and I will see you in the Facebook group through July 27th. Have a wonderful rest of your day.